this year, we were really excited to welcome Michael Reeder at Hello Print Friend Studios. He came to us through a collaboration with Print Austin, a nonprofit that supports printmaking based in Austin, Texas. And while he was with us, he produced a new lithograph titled Ghost Gate. This video is about that process. After consulting with our master printer, Timothy Pauschak, Michael got to work hand drawing his image on one of the larger stones here at our studio. Once the image is drawn, it gets etched into the stone with a chemical process. You can see Tim doing some of the etching on the cloud here. But this image is just the key plate, meaning it's just the black stone, which is actually going to be the final layer in this piece. We start by creating layers and layers of the color that support the image. And if you know Michael's work, you know he loves color. So here's an amazing gradient that Tim and Michael picked out together to be the background in Ghost Gate. The gray was the first layer that went down earlier, and now you can see Tim is about to run it through the lithography press to create the second layer, which is the gradient. So in this video, I included basically the entire time it takes one pass to go through the litho press, which might seem like a long time in internet time, but I left it in because I wanted the viewer to understand how long it takes to create these. So multiple layers, every layer has to go through the printing press by hand. You can see Tim cranking the press right there with his right arm. And it happens for every layer and for every piece in the edition. That's 30 pieces in this edition. So it is definitely an arduous process, but the results are amazing. Here you can see Tim is about to reveal the second layer, which is the sky background in Ghost Gate. Already the image is starting to come together here, starting to pop. As you can see from the process, every single one of these is printed by hand, so you get a little bit of variation when you're working with a gradient, but that is all part of the handmade nature of an original print. Now we get to the really fun part, which is the printing of the black layer, that hand-done drawing on the litho stone. Tim is working with our assistant printer, Net, to get the stone ready to go, and you can see we already have that gradient, that gray, the green, and the flowers done on the paper. They're going to line it up perfectly to get that registration really sharp and send it through the litho press. So what happens on this layer and on every layer is as the press bed moves through, that bar puts an incredible amount of pressure onto the paper. There's actually a layer of grease between the bar and the plastic to help it run smoothly, but that heavy layer of pressure, that is what actually transfers the ink from the stone onto the paper. This technique goes back centuries. They have been making original prints in this method for a long time. And here is that reveal, always so satisfying, so beautiful to see the very final layer coming up like that, and the completed image. All those different delightful colors and textures coming together. But we're not finished. No. We need to do a couple elements of gold leaf to really make this piece complete. So you can see the process here. We've got the stacks of gold leaf, and it's carefully put down into the adhesive that's been applied before. And you just smooth it over and wait for it to dry. And so for each piece in this edition of 30, this had to be done for the two clouds and the inside of each one of the flowers. One at a time, hand by hand, very carefully. But that is all part of the fun. Once it's dried, it's time to go clean up the excess, which we do with a tiny little vacuum, and then finish it off by hand. That gold leaf is the true final layer, so all that's left is for the artist to addition and sign each print by hand. This also gives the artist an opportunity to do a quality check on each piece. So take a fine eye to every single piece in the edition and make sure it meets the quality standards. Once it passes, we put our literal stamp of approval on it, HPF, for Hello Print Friend Studios. This was a really fun project. Thank you again to Print Austin for sending Michael our way. These will be going live for sale at noon Central Standard Time on April 3rd. To learn more about that, check out the links in this video to Michael's website or the studio.